want to look at the enumerate function in Python. Okay, so now let's take a look at the explanation of enumerate function. Okay, so the enumerate function assigns an index to each item in an iterable object that can be used to reference the item later. It makes it easy to keep track of the content in the object. Okay, and this is the syntax of the enumerate. Okay, so in Python, when we want to, let's say, um when we use for loop, okay, to iterate over a list, okay, or a dictionary or a tuple, and we want to keep track, okay, or we want to print the, let's say, the position of of the items in the list and their corresponding value, okay, it becomes very difficult, and we have to declare a counter variable, and then we have to keep track of the item when we are looping over it and be counting over it. So now we have um a typical example over here. So in this example, we have a value called I, okay, that is our counter variable, and you've set it to 0, okay. And now what you're doing is that we are looping over this list of languages. So we are saying that for language in languages, we want to print I, okay, and the language. So I would represent the position of the items in the list. So after every iteration, we increase the counter by 1, so that we keep track of the positions in the list. So we can do it when we run this code. We see that we have 0 Python, 1 C, 2 C++, 3 C sharp, and 4 JavaScript. Now, this 4 lines of code, all right, can be reduced into 2 lines of code. So now by using the enumerate, okay, so this is a bad way of writing it. So let me comment it. Okay, now with a good way, or how we can implement this same code using enumerate. Okay, so now enumerate function, right, gives us two variable. Okay, so enumerate helps us to unpack the item or the list or the object that we pass into the enumerate. Okay, so when we pass the languages into the enumerate, it is going to give us the ability to unpack them into an index and the the actual items or the actual language in the list of languages. Okay, so it is going to give us the ability for us to keep track of the position of the items in the list. So now when we also run this code, we will see that we have the same thing. Now what makes it fun is that with this type of implementation, so let me comment this. Okay, let me comment this. Now with this type of implementation, okay, with this type of implementation, when you see, we cannot do anything about it. Okay, if we want to start from 1 to the last item, all that we need to do is that we have to increase this by 1 so that we get 1 to 5. Okay, but with the enumerate, we only have to pass that value inside the enumerate function as a second argument, okay, which is called the start value. So what I'm going to do is that, doing the same thing over here, I'm just going to pass a second parameter or a second value into the enumerate function, which is the start. Okay, so I'll pass in like 1, and lo and behold, it's going to start not from 0 but from 1 through to 5. Okay, so now we have another example over here that takes a word. Okay, so we have programming as a string, and what you're doing is that we are unpacking the enumerate function to take the index, to keep track of the index and also the items that we've passed, or the object that has been passed to the enumerate. Okay, so now we are saying that we are doing a formatted string over here, and we are printing the index and their corresponding value. So we see 1 is equal to p, 2 r, 3 0, 4 g, and so on and so forth. Now another way that we can also um see where enumerate gives us um more advantage is maybe having a list of languages, and we have a target that we want to search from this list of languages. Okay, so what we can do is that we can write for index comma character in the enumerate of languages. Okay, now what I want to do is that I want to um what I want to do is that I want to use the enumerate function on this list of languages. Okay, so it has been unpacked over here. Now what I want to do is that I want to check for the indexes in this list of languages, okay, to see if any of this item in this, if any of the item with that specific index matches the target we have specified over here, okay, which is the C sharp. Okay, so now if we find that item, okay, we want to say that the target has been found and we break out of the loop. Now when we run this code, okay, we're going to see that we have the target is being found, okay, or has been found. Now when this break is not here, okay, we're just going to get the multiple print specifying, um so let's say something like this. When I run this code, we'll see that the target has been found. But if I had an else case here, so if I had an else case here, so where the break shine over here is like we print something like, um the target, okay, is not found over here. Now when we run this, we'll have a list of, or a variety of print statements. Okay, now where this shine is where when we bring the break over here. So as soon as we find the target, we break out of the loop. So when we run this, we'll see that targets, okay, so let me run it again. So targets not found, targets not found, targets not found, targets found. So here in the fourth item, we found the target. So what we can do is that in order for us to only print the target has been found, we have to get rid of this else statement, and even this break is not necessary over here. So we'll just run this, and if the target is found, the loop is going to stop. Okay, so this is the enumerate function in Python. Okay, so that is it. See you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.